Gordon. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Hampden Selectboard and Board of Health to order on June 30th, 2025 in the Townhouse Auditorium. This meeting is being held in person in the auditorium, also broadcast on Zoom. Is anyone recording this meeting? Kristen?
Yep. Kristen
Rivers from the Hampden Times. Welcome, Kristen. I'd like you to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And Lauren, do we have any minutes?
No.
All righty. So first thing on is the public safety consultants. Brian, are they online?
Yep. Mr. Russ Stevens is online.
Good evening, gentlemen. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for having me this evening. My name is Chief Russ Stevens, and I'm representing Public Safety Consultants, which is a consulting company that does the search and assessment for police chiefs, as well as we do assessment centers for various ranks throughout policing and fire agencies. Predominantly, we stay in Massachusetts. The Massachusetts laws and the way our customs are a little different in Massachusetts than they are in other states. A little bit about Public Safety Consultants. Public Safety Consultants the company was started by Chief Wayne Sampson. Wayne is the retired police chief in Shrewsbury, Mass. We've been in business for about 20 years. He started it about 20 years ago. After he retired from Shrewsbury, he was the executive director of Mass Chiefs of Police for 10 years. He's also an attorney. And then he, as well as him and a few other chiefs, started up the Plymouth Cape Cod Academy. So I teamed up with Wayne about 15 years ago. I'm a seated police chief, soon to retire, in Hamilton, Mass. And I've been a police officer for 41 years. I started off in Sturbridge, Mass. I then went to the Connecticut State Police, retired as the chief of staff to the colonel after 23 years. And I've been the chief in Hamilton for 16 years. What we do, finding a police chief is not an easy task. And what I mean by that is a police chief is one of your most visible department heads in any town, especially towns of our size, such as yours. And it's not only about the qualifications of the chief, it's also about the fit for the community as well. And the way we do it is, the first thing we do is we work on creating the job announcement. The job announcement itself is created. We go back and forth with the town, either whoever the official is who's elected to work with us, whether it's the TMTA or the chair of the board, or if the town has an HR, we work with HR, and we work on the job announcement. The job announcement speaks to the town itself, the size of your department, the operational budget, and the qualifications required to do the position. We then push out the job announcement for approximately 30 days. One of the best places to push it out is through Mass Chiefs of Police. Mass Chiefs of Police has over 1,000 followers throughout the Commonwealth and out of state as well. We push it out to Mass Chiefs of Police. We'll also push it out to New England Police Chiefs, as well as women and minorities in law enforcement associations throughout the Commonwealth. We'll push it out there as well. You leave it out there for about 30 days. And after 30 days, that is when you start getting the resumes in. We then look at the resumes, and that's the first process, is getting your resumes in after the job announcement. The second phase is written response to essay questions. So after we get the resumes in, we look at the resumes, we weigh the resumes. Some of them won't meet the minimum qualifications that you all have put in your job announcement, what you're looking for, whether it's a minimum of time served in administrative positions. You're looking for someone who's in an administrative capacity now, who knows how to write grants, who knows how to research grants, who knows how to do budgeting, who knows labor relations, who sat on the other side of the table, knows contract negotiations, and can work with the board and work with the TA and or TM, depending on the town. So then we look at the job announcements, we weigh out the job announcements, and we decide who's going to move to the next phase, which is written response to essay questions. So the second phase is writing. We write questions that are specific to your community, the town, the neighborhood, the police department. And then we push those out to the candidates who are moving forward in the process. We're not looking for English majors. We're not looking for, dangling participles in their written work. However, as a police chief, they should be able to write. There should be decent sentence structure, but it's more about the content in the response to the questions that we ask. So we read through those, myself and a team of chiefs, we go through those. And then after that, we cull the list down again to do oral board interviews. The oral board interviews are done, we can do those via Zoom. And we do the oral board interviews. We have a whole separate set of questions, again, unique to the community, unique to the town, and unique to the position of being police chief in your town. These could be budget-related questions, these could be labor relations issue questions, these could be community issue questions. And then after that, we weigh it, we have a grading rubrics, we weight those questions in response to those questions, and then we do an in-person assessment center with the final candidates. The in-person assessment center is real-life scenarios that we put together that are based on real things that have happened. And I work with the TM or the select board chair or the PA in your town to come up with scenarios that truly reflect your community. And then we bring all the candidates in that have made it this far. We do the in-person assessment center somewhere in your community. And board members are more than welcome to watch. We can't grade, but they're more than welcome to watch. After that, we ask that the select board interview the final candidates. Now, if we end up with 3 or 4 candidates to the assessment center, we ask the select board can interview, and it really is up to the board itself, whether you want to interview all 4 or interview the top 2 or the top 3. It really depends on the board. And you're going to ask a separate set of questions. By this time, we provide updates either to the board directly or through the TA or TM as to the process, each step of the process, where we're at, how many candidates we have, when we're going to be done the process. So it's a very unique process, and it's not necessarily done overnight. Once we get the announcement out and get the resumes in after the closing period, that we can move fairly quick after that. Again, normally we like to have the announcement out there for 30 days. That way everyone, especially this time of year, because you're entering vacation time where you have potential candidates that could be away on vacation as well. After the select board interviews and you make your selection, you're going to have to do a psychological, a medical, and a background investigation. At the same time, you will give a conditional letter of employment, which allows you to negotiate the contract with your incoming candidate. And then it's a matter of a hiring date and a start date. Now, I kind of went through it without giving you guys a chance to ask questions, but I'm more than happy. Anyone have any questions about the process, what it looks like?
No, you're very thorough.
Nope.
I'm sorry?
No, you were very thorough explaining.
Okay.
Can you give me some recent examples of towns that you did?
Sure, Provincetown, East Hampton, Northampton. We're doing Carver right now. We're doing Waltham Deputy Chief, Sutton Chief, Holbrook Deputy Chief. We've done, in the last 3 years, we've done upwards of 50 police chiefs. And I'm more than happy to get you a list of all the chiefs, so you can call references if you so choose. You can call all the references as well. Unfortunately, in the state of Massachusetts, in the last close to 5 years, we've had almost 250 police chiefs retire. That's a lot of chiefs, considering we have 351 cities and towns in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So, you got to be very thorough in your process when you're going to hire someone.
So the time frame you're talking about, and also, I'm not sure if you touched on the cost.
So the time frame, if we advertise for 30 days,
Right.
let's say we put it out, we get it out the 3rd week of July or 2nd week of July, you're still talking sometime in August. End of August, beginning of September, maybe middle of September. It really depends how fast we get moving on it. Once you get the announcement done and you get that out, we can do a 3-week advertisement. And after 3 weeks, it really depends how fast you all want to get moving. After 3 weeks, if we have enough applicants, qualified applicants, we can close it. We can put a date of 3 weeks. It just means the applicants, we have to push it hard, advertise it hard, and then close it at 3 weeks and start the process a week earlier.
On average, how many qualified applicants out of all the places you've mentioned, just on average? What do you,
In average, you'll get roughly 16-ish, plus or minus, depending on the community. It depends, a lot of it depends on the location too. You have a beautiful community. You're Western Mass by the Connecticut line, you'll attract a lot of people from Western Mass, or a certain amount of people from Western Mass, second in commands from Western Mass. You'll probably attract some people from over the line in Connecticut as well, because you're so close to the line. You'll attract some people over the line as well. So 16, maybe upwards of 20 tops, right around there. It depends on what we make the rank. If you say lieutenants are above, or if you say sergeants are above. So it really depends on where you put that cutoff, and we have discussions about that. Where you put the cutoff as it pertains to rank.
All right, well, I know we'd be interested in seeing the list of communities that you've worked with.
Absolutely.
Brian, you didn't happen to have that perhaps in some submission before, did you? Maybe they had typically they have like a brochure, and maybe it shows at the back. I remember this happened when the town manager type thing.
I would imagine that was on the website, we can find them.
Okay, I don't see
So
it.
if you don't, what I'll do is I'll send you a proposal, and that will have, I'll put a list of the chief searches we've done. I'll get that out to you.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I look good.
schedule for this time?
Go ahead, sorry.
That's about the fee.
Well, that'll be his proposal, I think.
Okay.
I'll put everything in the proposal, and I'll list the phone numbers, so if you want to call references, you're more than welcome to.
Appreciate it.
Okay. You good? Good, thank you.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Take care, folks.
Yeah,
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Do we
Well,
have
that was easy. What do you want?
the other guy?
No, he's on vacation.
Right.
We're gonna talk by
Just
phone
the
today,
one,
but,
So I remember when we had the different people come in, you remember Don Collins and the other guys, they had this huge list at the back of the communities they'd worked with. I think it was amazing. I think both people we interviewed had the same community that they picked somebody for.
At one time or another, yeah.
Yeah. So I did like when he talked about some of the communities he's worked with recently. The relevance has to be the size of the community. It can't just be like, hey, we picked the guy for Holyoke. That's great. That has nothing to do with our town. But Brian, you're more familiar with that area. I mean, East Hampton, West Hampton, they're all different.
Yeah,
Sutton's pretty small.
I mean,
Pretty small, I think.
he's from Hamilton. I looked it up, Hamilton, 7,000 people. So it's somewhat similar at that point.
yeah.
So,
And this is the process that they run.
right.
One alternative could be that we do the work, we do phase one, we get out the job announcement and we advertise, and then we would want them to we would still pay for the in-person assessment center and that kind of stuff. I talking with Chief Trombley, it's likely that it seems like we've gotten interest from people who are local, or at least within like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. It's not that we necessarily need a New England-wide search to have somebody come into town here, but.
Well, I think that's what we talked about before, that now, do we draw the circle and say you can't apply if you're more than 100 miles away because you can't be basically responsive enough as chief? But then they might say, well, what if I moved there?
Right.
We don't have a residency requirement like a Springfield or a Holyoke or something like that. But that's always an option, of course.
Is that a contingent on their employment?
Right, you might give them,
Say they're relocating.
which I think they do in some town, 6 months or something like that, you know, fire chiefs, fire captains, same thing, I believe. So, but I think it's not realistic, and Don, we saw some of those applicants before for a different job, where it just didn't seem like that person was coming from Natick to be,
Yeah.
you know, in town here.
Now, when we chose the last chief, we just did it all ourselves, right?
He was a regular, he came up through Tremblay.
From the rank.
We did, but we still advertised out for, you know, it's not like we have the Springfield Force where we have 7 captains and 5 lieutenants to choose from, so.
Which really are, well, we have a chief's retiring. The senior sergeant's retiring on July 5th. We have a new sergeant, it's been there 3 weeks.
Another sergeant coming on, which will open up the detective spot.
Which will open up an officer spot, and we still have the issue of the,
We have no IT person.
we have no IT person over there.
Other than that,
We're in good shape.
and a couple of the cars they wanted, I don't know,
All right,
so. All right, well, let's see what the proposal, but I think it does require a different discussion about, is that direction we want to take? I'd like to see what their proposal is first, though, because it might be, well, not to throw a number at it, but say the number is like, you know, we can do that, and if their experience does help. Or they come back and they're looking for 50,000, we're like, well, that was fun,
yeah.
and move on.
And they can also do a standalone, the in-person assessment center, they also offer those separately, if we were to bring the top 3 or 4 candidates to them. That's what Scott was saying. They could also do that part separately.
Dave, you had a comment?
Yep, so my thought is, so when he was saying that they'll knock people off that are not qualified,
Yeah,
but at the same time, you're never, are you guys gonna be able to see those applicants at the same
we can
time?
always ask to see those, sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because what if one of those persons, like, their system might say not, but they might have a little fit, and we might wanna throw them in there for an interview.
Sure. And we've done that in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, even though it's in that pile, hey, move it back to this pile, we'd like to talk to that person anyhow, right? So, okay. I guess it's you.
It's hard being on this side, I like to be on this side.
Do you? It's been so long since you've been on this side, like months. So, hi, Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave.
Introduce your crew.
This is my crew, this is Wes, and this is Chuck.
Hey, Wes. Hey, Chuck, how are you?
Senior Vice Commander at VFW.
Great.
I'm the new commander.
I see the new shirt, that's very nice, thank you.
Very much.
Yeah, great job at the, by the way, at the Memorial Day Parade.
Thank you very much.
Really went as well as any. I mean, wasn't rained out like last year.
This place was crowded.
But it, you know, everything was in order. The march went great. You know, thank you. By the way, I know your post went down, did some road work, I think a few weeks before.
No, 2 days before.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah.
So, we call it May Day. So every year in May, we do an event to help with the VFW, show community service. We brought our wives, our children, other volunteers, and we walked all the way from the entire parade route down to here, cleaned up trash. I think we got somewhere up around 50 pounds. Lots of cell phones, you found a cell phone there?
Found cell phone. I have to say, so, I sponsor the town cleanup every spring.
Right.
You know, that Heather Jolliker does a great job. Karen Paradis has helped as well. And it's amazing, the people come back, and Don has been there as well, picking up a shirt and a bag, and what the number one thing that fills those bags is.
Yes, there was lots of those.
And unfortunately, I thought they were working on a return policy or something like that. That's where we can make our money.
We would have made lots of money.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was the
incredible.
majority of it.
I'm sure it is, yeah. So anyhow, so hi.
So we would like to continue our turkey shoots for the 25, 26 years. You all have the document in front of you. I'm just going to go over some of the dates. So we would like to start August 24th and go all the way through November 23rd, which would be the turkey shoot. then we would like to keep the Christmas shoot, which will be December 14th. And then you guys also, we asked 2 years ago for the March and the April, which would be March 22nd and April 12th shoots for St. Patrick's Day and Easter.
Right, and what did we do about those? Did we grant those?
Yes, sir, you did.
So these dates here, do they differ from what have been granted in prior years?
The only thing that differs is we're asking for 1 week earlier in August. So we want to open that up to businesses in the area. We already have 2 businesses lined up if it gets approved. So what we do is we split that turkey shoot between 2 businesses. And the business buys half the shoot, the other business buys the other half of the shoot. And their employees just shoot for fun. And we supply all the prizes.
So the VFW turkey shoot sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts or something, or what do you mean?
But don't have employees.
Like, I know we have Hasty, Mike
Fence?
Hasty.
Fence?
Hasty Fence.
Yeah.
He bought a half a shoot in Levesque Trucking from, I think they're in Munson, bought the other half.
So only their employees would come and shoot that day, you mean? Or?
Yes. So it won't be, that was the only one that wouldn't be open to the public. And then the following week, we would open to the public for our regular shoots like we do.
So the August 24th one is a closed, basically?
Yes.
That's the private one?
That'd be the private.
And we did the St. Patrick's and Easter shoot?
Yes, sir.
They were a big hit the last 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And not to mention, it really does help sponsor that money for, for doing the stuff that we need to do. It's been a big difference, especially coming out of the winter months where things kind of dead and slow. It's helped out with raising that money for stuff, so.
Yeah.
How much do you charge?
It varies so it goes by the price of the prizes. So we usually do like a 35-40% markup. So if we do a prime rib and it costs, say, I'll just do a hypothetical, say it costs $100, it costs more than that. So what we'll do is we only have 30 targets. So it's 1 through 30. So we'll divide that by 30 and then add the 35 to 40% markup. And that cost for the cost of the ammo, the targets, the fresh pine boards
So
that we put up there.
one ticket could be anywhere from $5, or even actually one of our prices is $1 to start out, but from $1 all the way up to, I think our most expensive ones usually the best been what?
How do you win the prize?
So the closest to the center of the target.
Yep. The pellets in the inside of the.
So we use all the same
target.
ammo, so no one can say, oh, he brought his own ammo, he used something different. That's why we supply it's shotgun number 8. And then everyone gets the same ammunition for that shot, for that round.
And you guys, like in the big prizes, you guys don't like bend the sights or anything, right?
No. No.
I said to
Jeez,
Sore loser? Jeez.
Yes, those games are meant to trick you, and you bend those sights.
Yeah. So.
Geez, I don't know, it was right on there.
So the only issue we've had in the past, this has gone on for years, obviously, is the noise going down the river. And it's been a concern from people who live down in Walnut, Hickory, down that area.
Yep.
We've had remediation in the past and we talked about this last year, that I think back when my dad was on the board, we asked them to put a tarp up on the river during
Correct.
shoot, and you have.
You asked us last year.
Asked you last year about if you were gonna put it back up.
We still have we have our rope that we set up with our, it goes like 15 feet in the air, and we hang that tarp and we put it up
Right.
It's not a big deal.
Right, it may not be as big an issue in August and September, because the foliage is still pretty good at that
Right,
point.
when you get into November.
There's your thing, right.
Yeah. So the people that used to complain all the time, they actually moved out.
Really?
Yes.
The
No,
person who lives there now, I think, has come up and says, oh yeah,
Yeah.
don't bother me, we love it.
They actually come to the shoot.
They come to the shoots now, so.
again,
That was my
it
understanding.
doesn't mean that, we
still
certainly
will
appreciate
continue to
you
put that tarp up.
remediating as much as you can.
Yes,
That's exactly
we
right,
are.
yeah, appreciate it.
Anything we can do to
We have
make
the-
people happy.
So Eric, I know you're new to the board.
Yes.
Welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
I did vote for you.
Thank you.
We have a zero mishap record. We have volunteers out there, we're out there in bright, what color is it? Fluorescent, what?
Fluorescent, green,
Yellow?
well, green, yellow.
I'm colorblind, sorry.
Yeah.
So
There's the safety officer right here. Okay, thank you. Okay.
I can tell the difference, I just don't know what color it is.
Dave is actually on the planning board as well. Nice, Dave.
So anyone working out there on the line, they're all wearing bright clothes. We have a new PA system put in, so we can actually communicate better out there. So we used to just have the little horns.
Dave, I think the best thing you said so far is you have a 0 accident record. And as many times, I think Don and I have seen this before us, we've never heard of an issue that's happened there. And that's key, right there. I'm sorry, Tad?
I just want to ask,
Yes, sir.
do you guys supply the guns?
We have shotguns that people can use,
Oh, it's a
yes.
shotgun.
Yep. So we have a 12, 16, 20, and we also have a 410 for the kids.
Huh.
And all the kids have to sign waivers, signed by their parents,
Parents have to be
present at the time.
present. And we also have, we've actually got more people coming out, even more so now. Members joining in, really monitoring the inside-outside safety, and more than past years, we've really gotten a lot of members involved. So
Okay.
great tradition from when I started about 5 years ago. I started 5 years ago, but I know I still got grandfathers and grandchildren come, yeah, my father brought me out here, my grandfather brought me out here. So apparently, I don't know the exact date, it's been like, I know we're coming up on our 80th. So I think it's like almost 75 years that they've been doing the turkey shoots.
Would have been right up there with the fishing derby.
Oh, yeah,
When they walked across the old bridge,
yeah.
I would never walk across that thing.
Really?
No.
Oh. You kids. All right, so we've taken too much of your time. How's the board feel about these dates?
All right, I'll move approval for the turkey shoots in which no live turkeys are harmed,
No lunch.
for the dates proposed.
Second.
You okay with the live turkey thing too? Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Sorry to run you through the ringer like that.
No, you're fine. Because the people on Zoom, they need to know too, you know?
Exactly. Well, like I said, the key thing is zero problems.
And we still notify the police department on Sundays too, to remind them,
Great.
just so you're aware.
Okay. All right, we'll see you at your next meeting. We'll flip roles.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe by the end of the year.
Thank you all, have a great day.
I know.
We're gonna be busy.
I'm sure. Job posting, Brian.
Job posting. Simple one first, town accountant. Town accountant has expressed his intention to retire. So we need to fill that position, part-time position. After I talked with Dick a little bit, we're estimating somewhere between 15 to 20 hours a week. Again, that really depends on what's going on in the time of the fiscal year. Obviously, it's going to be more or less depending on what's happening.
With the hourly rate you show here and that time frame, how does that work out with the budget we have?
So the town accountant position, based on the classification plan, is a step 6, grade 6. This is the step 1 rate. We may need to,
Based on experience?
yeah, based on experience, we may increase this a little bit, but there will be, we budgeted about 48,000, and that would be, that's the max for grade 6, so we'll have ample room in the budget.
Okay.
Because I believe the current position is based on 20 hours at grade 6, whatever the max step is.
All right, did you say that you had some thoughts about people that may be interested in this?
There's one town accountant that I've had some discussions with.
Okay. All right. And do we have, obviously, we have a bit of a, I don't want to say a time thing, but, obviously, we're at the point of closing the books and getting ready to certify free cash, which has historically been a role of, obviously, the accountant working with the treasurer, assessors, et cetera.
Yeah.
And with some turnover, potential turnover, you think it's Cliff's intention to finish submit for certification and then retire?
Yeah, that's my understanding, is that he'll close 25, submit free cash, and then be available as needed to bring along the next town accountant.
All right, no, maybe assist up to tax rate time, possibly?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Okay. All right. Eric, you see any issue with these postings? No? We're good. All right. Okay, how about the other one?
So the other one's a little bit more complicated. Well, not complicated, but it's a new position, let's put it that way. So tomorrow, July 1st, well, or I should say, maybe at midnight, the town will, the lease will terminate with the school district, and the town will have possession of Thornton Burgess. I'm not going to rehash everything that has gone on so far. We had requested enough funding to hire a full-time facilities manager, and that was reduced and to about, we requested 70,000, and town meeting appropriated 40,000 in the salary line item. I still think that the full-time facilities manager is really needed, and it's needed really immediately, because we're hoping to get into TWB over the next 3 to 4 months, which is going to require a lot of work, and it's going to require a lot of work that, it's going to require a lot of labor in the sense of, we got to change out light bulbs, we got to change out ceiling tiles, we got to clean, we got to make all these really minor repairs, hopefully some painting, but it's not anything that's terribly unique or requires, a certain skill set. There's labor that needs to be done and somebody to oversee that. I've done my best to try to get up to speed over the past week in terms of the mechanical systems and the vendors and the alarms and all those types of things. But we're gonna hit a period here where there's gonna be a little bit of a gap where we don't have a dedicated facilities person. So even if we can't, if the board's not comfortable with full-time, I would ask that we could either do something like full-time 6 months or part-time to really get somebody in there, because that building is a behemoth. It's quite large. The systems are industrial commercial size, and it's not really something that anybody here has experience doing.
Well, I think part of it too is that obviously the day-to-day oversight. We've talked about there's obviously one person who has good familiarity with the building and would be applicable for this. To start off, is it possible, and I'm not sure what that person's situation is going forward, with the building changing ownership, is it possible to get that person to basically dedicate 5-10 hours a week in terms of just at least, I don't want to say maintenance, but oversight as well? Just like you said, the job they were doing, but for a different boss, basically, and keep that part going. The other concern I would have is the town understanding, or the town body, if you will, understanding the status of the school at this point in terms of going in there. Yes, it's our building. It doesn't mean that Department A is going over there tomorrow and starting to look at moving desks around, stuff like that. Parks has been using it for a while, but it's still the part they've been using that's to be used. Don't be going down the hallway yet.
Right.
To those rooms, et cetera, I think that needs, and then maybe something you're gonna touch on Wednesday
Yeah.
in the staff meeting. Say, this is where we are, don't get ahead of us. We'll lead it over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Don, what are your thoughts about getting somebody?
I think you should advertise for full-time.
We talked before, but we'll just make a goal to fund more in the fall.
Yeah. I mean, I think the original concept of the facilities manager was not just Thornton Burgess. It was to take a look at this building when it's vacant, take a look at the Academy Hall, take a look at
Even the highway, which is
the
fair. But again,
highway department, just someone that can, look at these buildings. So I think we have to advertise full and.
you could back and Don, I think you might have brought this point up before. if this was a position that was filled before, perhaps where we were with the senior center might not have been there. Because we were relying on volunteers, and very capable volunteers.
Yeah, but they're volunteers, they're not there all the time, they're
Right,
not, you know.
right, so, you know,
think you should
when you look
advertise
at the
full-time.
fact that we have now tripled the square footage of town, I'm gonna say quadrupled the square footage of town buildings, at least. You know, this has to be a professional operation going forward. So I think your advertisement at that range is correct, and we'll just guarantee to fund it. It's tough, I know what you're saying. I know, but I'm gonna hire a guy saying, hey, don't worry, the money's coming.
Trust us.
Trust us. Yeah, we're the government. But I think you have to. And
I think it was very,
we had the best,
penny wise and pound foolish,
we had the best intentions, but,
you know, and you know, it's penny wise and pound foolish that the advisory committee advised, cut it in half, because this is a big project, and it's, and in the end, it'll save the town tons of money.
yeah,
Because like Brian says, if you need to change 300 light bulbs, you're gonna call an electrician and to change the 300 light bulbs, because we don't have anyone to do it. How much is that gonna
their
cost?
hourly rate,
At their hourly rate, how much is that gonna cost?
always said, the good thing about, my dad used to say, municipal people don't have to make a profit like a business does. Right. So, all right, so keep going with that, yes, put it out there, I would say, but I think you still should chat with that individual and see if, on a temporary basis, they're willing to. When you get the keys from them tonight at midnight, you're staying here, right?
Stay until midnight, right? You're gonna get them right at midnight, right?
Already got them,
Huh?
already got them.
Wow.
Sounds like a violation of the.
I would think so, yeah, geez. Good thing he doesn't live here.
All right, Jack,
We're all getting our copies, thanks.
there we go.
Yeah. All right, so we have two positions, you agree we should advertise both?
Yep.
All right. Eric? Good. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, unregistered vehicle complaint. It's probably the, I think, fourth one I've had in my time. Brian? Or Lauren?
I can talk about it. So if you look at, there is documentation from the Hampden Police Department about property that has, well, we'll just call it more than one unregistered vehicle on their property, and that's a violation of the town's general bylaws, chapter 8, section 5, talks about unregistered vehicles. The police department's been dealing with this situation since January, and my understanding is they haven't had too much cooperation in terms of finding a resolution to the problem. But in accordance with the bylaw reads that there can only be a penalty assessed of $5 per day for each day of the violation, but that penalty can only start after 10 days written notice from the board of, well, it says the Board of Selectmen in our general bylaws. So there's a request from the police department to have the board send out a letter to the homeowner in an effort to move closer to a resolution of the number of unregistered vehicles that are on their property. There's two listings here that was provided by the police department, one in January 26th, and then one again in June 21st. You'll see there's a number of vehicles that are listed for that address. Some are active, some are inactive, some appear to be canceled.
Yeah, so I guess two things. How many unregistered cars are up there? Because I don't think, because this inactive
Right. It's just a list, it's not,
doesn't mean it could enact, they could, you know, I mean, this is
So, in what you show here is that from a neighboring property, they were able to visualize vehicles behind the barn that appeared to be unregistered.
Yep.
So, do you cite them? Does the homeowner then get the chance to say, you know what? That Mustang you saw, I do have it registered. Here's the plate number for it. And so they come back and basically disprove what we said. And then the $5 per day, is it per vehicle? Or $5 per day?
I believe it's per vehicle.
Sorry.
But we
But we
don't,
don't have an actual number of vehicles except these pictures for the wood.
Well, there's the pictures, and then there's, yeah, I guess we'd have to ask, I don't know, it looks like Tommy might be on.
see,
Bob might be on.
see, what I'm saying is, they've got, I mean, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 14 per page here. 14 per page, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. I don't think there's 56 cars up there. Right? I mean, I can't imagine there's 56 unregistered cars up there.
I mean, a couple canceled, a couple inactive, and a couple expired. But here's the thing. So the ones that are inactive, expired, are they still sitting there?
That's what I mean.
Right.
I think they get mixed, like one report's from January, the other one's from June, so that's where the other one comes in. I think they got duplicate cars, one from January, one from June, but I think needless.
But do we have, do we have the authority to say, we need to come on your property and check these cars?
Good question. I want to say no.
That's what I was thinking too. We see these cars in the woods behind the thing, we think they're unregistered,
Yeah.
and the homeowner goes, prove it. You're like, well, it looks like a 67 Chevelle, and I don't see it on the list. I mean, that's about it.
Yeah. I believe there's 5+ vehicles that are unregistered. We cannot go on the property. Sergeant Eva.
Where does it say that?
He just sent it in the,
Oh, he sent it, okay, you believe there's 5, okay. All right. So they want us, we need to send a letter saying that we believe there's unregistered vehicles on the property. They have X number of days to get rid of them, or they get a $5 fine per day,
yep.
all right?
And then the police department could start writing fines.
Okay. All right.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to authorize the town administrator to send a violation notice starting the 10-day clock.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye.
All right, okay. All right,
All right, Don, this is you and
Oh, this-
McNally.
okay, okay. This is just this is very preliminary. Mr. Picknelly and, what's the other guy's name? They're both, what was his name, Paul?
Marcelino?
Paul Marcelino.
Oh, yes.
Okay, came in, and they had a proposal of having holiday lighting placed along Allen Street, on the poles along Allen Street from about Mountain View through Built-ins. And the decorations would come from the Springfield, Bright
Spirit
Nights.
of Springfield stuff
Spirit of Springfield stuff for $1. Each decoration would be $1.
on the real pole, not the half pole that's left there,
You
right?
know, the real pole, it has to be on the real pole. So I said to them, look, we met, Brian and I met, and I said to them, look, I gotta bring it to the board, see if there's any interest, and then probably what we'll do is have you come in and explain the whole thing to us at a future meeting.
Sure.
So,
They get a tap off the line up above the light to run the lights, or how do they?
oh,
Huh.
Talk about hiring an electrician.
yeah,
Yeah, I know, but I mean, and they tap the line, I mean, there's, who pays for the
They
electricity?
just plug it in one of the neighbor's houses and
Note that, please note that under God's name, Lisa. All right, so schedule for future time.
Gotta-
Basically, are we willing to entertain it? Of course, we love
yeah,
promoting
entertain
him.
it, come to, yes, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can set some meeting sometime with them.
Yep.
All right,
All right, Emergency Management Director, we talked before, Craig had mentioned when he was stepping down that he had been serving as Emergency Management Director and suggested the board could appoint him to stay on. We had to do a 30-day pause from the date of his leaving the board. I think in light of the fact, especially the chief stepping down, Craig would be the most experienced in that role. He's willing to do it, entertaining a motion to appoint Craig, or Greg, to be the Emergency Management Director.
what do you think, Derek?
Kind of work you in right there.
Oh, wait, I've been waiting all night.
Have you really?
Completely on board with that.
Just call me Juan, it'll be fine, thank you.
Second,
Juan Direction. All in favor?
aye, okay,
You can write that letter and just put whatever you want there. To whom it may concern.
right.
All right, that's easy enough. That's why he didn't give the key back, right? Kept his fob?
And his email, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Appointments, what's that now? Get the vote.
lot of them.
So this is typically at the end of the fiscal year, people who want to serve again for the upcoming year are reappointed their positions. Some positions are multi-year and don't come up. Some positions, the people enjoyed their service and don't want to serve again, so Lauren has been reaching out to different people. That doesn't include us. And we have quite a few. We have annual appointments for the police department, including the chief, including Sergeant Cooney. But these are rote, if you will, and Sergeant rote. Appointments for the fire department as well for the upcoming year. One-year appointments for some of the staff in the town hall, which are the building commissioner, plumbing inspector, and the people in this office. The senior senate building committee is willing to keep serving. I reached out to Gary about that. The animal control officer, animal inspector Shelley and Paul. Fire department building committee. I thought I heard that a couple were stepping back, and I think there was the people from out of town. They had gone, done what they had. But there are 5 that are still willing to serve. Mark Barbara, Ed Poulin, Craig Revest, or Greg, Ed Rigney, and Lance Trevelyan. So I think that's it. Are there any committees besides what you have here, Lauren, or they're still coming in?
The only ones, I believe, that are left are the election officers, which I'm trying to get answers on.
Okay. I don't, seem like there should have been a conservation. But that's been, I won't say messed up, but so,
They've been changing a lot.
so much. It seemed like somebody should have been due this year, but either way. Oh, so you got council on aging from Becky? I thought one of these ladies had stepped down. No? Or is this just what, this is just what was on the list? This is just what was on the list?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Them,
Debbie, I
yeah.
think Debbie might have. Okay, so 3-year appointments, the board of registrars, the water commission, I know Paul is still serving. Didn't Paul say he was gonna step away or no?
He is after the end of the project.
Huh?
At the end of the project.
At the end of the project, okay, that's fine. Historical, we still have Connie and Christina. Zoning Board of Appeals, we don't have 5? And they're not staggered terms? It's odd to see all 4 on there at once, because that's a 5-member committee and it's usually staggered.
Well, good.
Jed, and I think Gary was on there too, I thought.
Well, unless our list is wrong, it has the wrong term dates on it, but
It's usually only 5. and you're right, it's Jed, and I thought Gary too, but did you, I'm gonna take a pause on that one, you could just bounce it off of Dick tomorrow, make sure. Because I mean, I really would like to stagger some of those, especially if we're reappointing them, because we don't want them coming up all at the same time again. There's no reason, right? So let's treat this. I have a request to reappoint the current personnel in the police department to a one-year term, as listed by the administrative assistant.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I have a request to reappoint the fire department personnel per the list as compiled by the administrative assistant to a one-year term. You want me to read all the names?
Okay, so moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have one-year appointments for the parking clerk, the town accountant, emergency man we just did, records access, the building department, which is the building commissioner, plumbing and gas inspector, the alternates, the electrical inspector, the alternate, the senior center building committee, which seems to be short one person, Lauren.
It's the same list as last time.
I know, but we appointed somebody to fill Rita's spot. Who was it? No, I swear there's another person there.
Hey, you have?
I even checked everything on it.
Anyhow, entertain a motion to make the one-year appointments per the list as submitted by the administrative assistant for parking clerk, town accountant, EMD director, records access officer, the building department personnel, the senior center building committee, the animal control department, animal inspectors, and the fire department building committee to one-year terms.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And I would like to hold off on the committee appointments until you just check that. I know the COA, I thought Debbie stepped down, and the zoning, just, it seems odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will entertain a motion to reappoint the Historical Commission, Connie Witt and Christina Revest.
There's an opening there, right?
There's no, we just appointed Joyce Dunkley.
Oh, yeah, right,
Yep.
okay, so moved.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Yeah, that's a three-year appointment. Three-year appointment for the Board of Registrars, Eva Wiseman. Three-year appointment for the Water District, Paul Garwacki, who is willing to serve until the water project ends in the year 2037. Thank you, John.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's how we keep them on. Just keep finding another pipe, John, finding another pipe. That's where you should step up. So these will be signed at your leisure over the next week, please. Won't be done all tonight. Vacation rollover requests, how many do we have, Lauren?
Five, I see five.
Five. Okay, building inspector would like to roll over 1 week. Karen, 12 hours of vacation, 4 hours of personal time. Lauren McCormick. Where it is. Mark, 1 day, pretty good. And Joanne, 3 days. Yeah. And I know certainly Karen and Joanne had issues that precluded them taking vacation with, family things. So these would have to be used up by September 30th if the board so requests, which makes sense. Entertain a motion to, none of these exceed 1 week, which is in the employee handbook. Entertain a motion to accept the request for vacation and personal time rollover.
Second?
Making a motion. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, summer schedule. Who wants to meet twice a week? That's something I want to bring up.
Me.
All right, so second, how do you feel about twice a week?
I'll be here, so.
All right, great. Matter of fact, why do we even close our meetings? Right? Right, there we go. All right, well, that was easy.
So we're gonna have to meet on the 7th,
Yep.
21st.
What happened on the 14th?
We're doing twice a week, aren't we?
Who says?
Once a week.
Who says?
Once every other week.
Once every other week.
says?
We're doing that too. And then we
says?
decided.
No,
Summer.
those old guys. All right,
Just a reminder, I'll be on vacation that week.
Yeah, Brian will be out that week of the 14th anyway.
14th anyhow? Okay. Why don't we, then, for July and August, we'll tentatively set every other week, and of course, be available if something comes up, we would meet. So we're gonna meet the 7th, the 21st, the 4th, and the 18th, but September 1st is Labor Day, right? So no, we'll just meet the 2nd of that week, basically.
Second.
The 2nd of that week, yeah. All right, so 2 meetings in July, 7th and 21st, 2 meetings in August, the 4th and the 18th, any other meeting as needed. Good?
Good.
Okay, you? Okay. All right, good. All right, any correspondence? Nope. You're out next week, you said, right?
Next week, I can zoom, I'm gonna go remote.
Zoom in?
Yep.
Okay, great. Any member reports? I have nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, town administrator report.
Yeah, a couple things.
Yeah, no kidding, he doesn't shut up, does he?
Nope,
Give me some cookies while he's talking, would you? The sugar.
Keep yourself busy.
not a word. Resolution for July 3rd, Friday holiday. Any thoughts? We said we were gonna stay open July 3rd.
Yeah.
We're not gonna close. July 4th is a paid holiday in our handbook. So are we gonna pay, are we gonna do a floating holiday, what do we wanna do?
Okay, you don't get both. You don't get paid and then another day off.
No, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't recommend that. I'll take it, but.
So, if I don't work on Friday, we still get, huh?
Go ahead. You don't work on Friday.
No proof of it. If I don't work on Friday, I still get paid for the Friday off. The holiday, right?
What, because it's a paid holiday?
Right.
You know,
If I work on Friday, I get paid for the holiday, but I lose a day's pay, right?
you get double time. You get double time if you work on a holiday,
That's what I'm asking. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the people that don't work on Friday basically just get paid for the holiday, so they get extra days pay in that week.
I'm fine with, yeah. I just need to know what to tell people. Oh, yeah.
No, I'm asking.
It's a policy, yes, that's one option, yes.
And what's your choice?
What's that?
Is that what you're recommending? That the people who work on Friday normally get the day off with pay, plus get the holiday pay?
Well,
Or,
well,
because there's not equity there, there's not equity there.
but who are those people? The police and the fire department and the
Senior
highway.
center
Highway.
and highway,
Senior center's open on Friday?
every Friday.
But they're gonna be closed this Friday because it's 4th of July.
Right.
And they're gonna get paid. There you go.
Seems like there's something out there.
What? I work for a company, and they're closed on a particular day, and it's a paid holiday, you get paid, period. Paid holiday, you're up there for work, we pay
I
you.
understand, but here's the thing. If I have job A and I get paid for 4 days a week,
Right,
I have job B and I get paid for 5 days every week.
right.
the people, because this holiday shows up on a Friday, they're getting paid for 5 days. The people who work 5 days are also getting paid for 5 days. So the A cohort is getting an extra day's pay as opposed to the other people. That's where I'm seeing this, either I'm not phrasing it right, but that's the difference right there.
Right, but
So are you suggesting the people who work 4 days, and it happens to fall in, the holiday happens to fall in the day they don't work, they don't get paid?
I'm not saying that because you get paid for a holiday, but how do you make it fair to the 5-day people?
if you're scheduled to work Monday through Thursday, 40-hour week, you don't, and Friday's your normal day off, and it happens to be a holiday, you're saying you want to, and you're.
No, you still get paid for it, it's a paid holiday, you know, but I'm saying, how do you get the equity to the other? You know, the 4-day people are getting an extra day's pay, and the 5-day people are not.
Right.
But the 5-day people are getting a day off.
So are the 4-day people,
Well, they don't work that day anyhow.
and they're getting paid it, yeah.
And if you do work, you
They don't get paid that day either, but they don't work, right?
No, they're getting paid for that day.
No, if the 4-day people work 4 days, they get paid for 4 days. They don't get paid the 5th day on a normal time.
Right.
The 5-day people get paid for 5 days. Now the holiday comes on the 4th day,
5th day, yeah.
right, 5th day. The 5-day people get a day off, and they get paid.
The 4-day people get an extra day's pay.
Yeah.
No, I understand, that's how it is. It just seemed like there's some kind of unfairness to it, that's all. I don't see a resolution.
Life isn't fair.
I'm gonna write that down, Don, thank you. Be on your chair.
No. I don't know, there is no resolution.
Brian, what do you say?
I thought it was either paid or get a floating holiday to use within a certain amount of time. You
comp
can take
day,
another day off.
yeah, like a comp day.
Who, the 5-day people? Or
The 4-day people,
4-day people?
town hall employees.
Why would the 4-day people get a floating day?
Because that's in lieu of paying them, right? That's in lieu of paying them, because we don't budget that amount. We don't budget for 262 days. We budget for 261 work days.
If you give them a day off.
Right.
You could take
the
one out in the
people-
future without causing us to shut down the entire town hall for the,
Right, I see what you're saying, the 4-day, the 5-day people are covered because that's a working day and it would be in their pay structure. The 4-day people, it's an extra, so rather than pay them, give them a floating day on their regular work days,
Like that.
is your recommendation, all right?
no, I think one or the other.
Well, it's not like we've got a lot of time to talk about it, it's this week. I like the floating thing, because it seemed like a little bit more fairness to it,
Take a day off here or there, yeah.
yeah. And it doesn't break the budget.
Right.
It's one week into it. Is that where you would go, Brian? The floating day?
It's better for the budget, and it keeps the town hall, we don't have to close for a day. I mean, it's a paid, it's listed as a paid holiday employee handbook. So I think we either pay people or we compensate them with a floating holiday. And the floating holiday is better for the budget.
Well, I mean, we will be closed on the actual 4th. Those places that are open are closed anyhow. The other, there's no closing on the 3rd or anything like that, right? Yeah.
And most of the research that I did of other towns in the state, there's a preference for a floating holiday because of the budgetary impacts. But some towns, it was all over the map.
Okay. All right, so we need to give Brian direction to tell people on Wednesday during his staff meeting. Is the board endorsing the floating holiday proposal from the town administrator?
Sure.
Can you be a little less enthusiastic, Don? Oh, yeah, you understand, yeah. All right,
I think it's wonderful.
here's a cookie. Take it home. Thank you, Brian. So that's where you're
All
gonna,
my cookies.
what? Save it for
Oh,
the
sure, you're
meeting.
trying to get me on a sugar high.
All right. Yes, Brian, anything else?
Oh, town administrator report.
Yes,
Oh, this is fun.
go ahead.
We mentioned take over TWB at midnight. I expect to see everybody there for ribbon cutting. Maybe the cops,
John?
maybe the cops will
You should
show
come.
up. I've been contacted by Mid-Jog Land Trust. They want to, and I guess this is something the board wants to decide if we move forward with the purchase of Zero North Road. They're ready to move forward. That's the Mid-Jog Land Trust parcel.
After
that
17 town meetings discussing it and
town
40
meeting approved.
would not go forward with it?
Well, I mean, you could.
Okay, the bottom line is that the money's already been appropriated from CPA, right?
Correct, yep.
You know, we've already spent
The only thing we already spent, I'm gonna spend
90
legal
million, $90
fees.
million on legal fees.
Yeah, which typically in the past used to be paid for by MLT, but okay.
So, I guess we'll move forward with that. MVP project is wrapped up, thankfully. It's still, Chapter 85 review is still pending, but we expect those comments to be minor. And we'll have construction-ready bid documents for the bridge, but we need to find funding to do it. Currently, they're still funding, as Don mentioned this morning, there's still money in the state budget for improvements, security improvements at TWB, so hopefully that will continue to be the case. I believe the conference committee was done, right? So now it
Conference
goes to
committee's
the,
done, it was still in the conference committee, and they're gonna vote on, I think they're gonna vote on it this week. And then it goes to the governor, there's $90,000 in there for TWB.
yep, that would be nice. And I had mentioned to the board earlier that the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, the Regional Energy Manager Program, it's a 3-year program that's funded through, part of it's through DOER, Department of Energy Resources, and a portion of it's funded through Mass Saves to provide a part-time energy manager for the town. And I alluded to in my email that I'd like them to focus on everything TWB, meaning lighting, HVAC, and the possibility of solar array on the roof there as well. So that's good timing for that.
Hey, Brian, back to kind of on the topic of that, where are we with meeting with Tony and talking about security and monitoring?
I sent them that email at the end of last week. I haven't heard back yet from him. I'll follow up. I think I sent it on Friday.
Okay, a couple more days. If we don't hear back, I think we need to either take it to them, right, go over there, because this is,
Yeah, and I had that short list of stuff to,
it does go back. We're not hearing anything about the quarterly meetings, the recaps, anything like that. I don't think we're certainly getting good coverage. The regional dispatch is working out well, but I'd like to feel like we're a little more of a partner in this.
that is it. End of the fiscal year.
Okay.
Last FY '25 warrants. If you guys have any invoices you need paid, please get them in by Thursday.
I do have a car payment too.
Yeah, and 649 for these done right here. See that right there? Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
And I don't want you guys to go crazy, but starting tomorrow, there's a new selectmen expenses budget.
Oh,
It's refreshed.
okay.
649 done.
Yeah, put this in.
You're gonna sell this?
No, no, we're gonna-
Put it on municipal bid?
What, I'm sorry, the vacation schedule. So Brian, you're out, not this week, but the week of the 13th?
Yep.
Okay. Lauren, any plans?
I have jury duty July 17th.
Guilty.
I have one day in August I'm taking off for a family thing, yeah.
Okay,
August 11th.
okay, and Eric, you're out next week? Next week, but available.
Available, that's okay.
Don, any thoughts?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts, but,
Going anywhere?
no, but she is,
Oh,
which is
Overseas?
vacation for me.
Brian, be ready for visitors every day.
We'll check on them every day.
Like, when you're away next week, Al Haig is here. For those who remember that,
Right,
was it Reagan
I'm in
got
charge-
shot?
I'm in charge here.
Exactly. way back. No plans here. Okay, Lauren, anything to bring up?
Nothing else, no.
Okay, before we go into executive session, you guys have anything? Ted, John? How's the project, John? Going well?
All the pipes are in the street now, except for the one line that was going up the house,
Okay.
main,
As I mentioned to the board, Mark does want to talk about changing his construction schedule, including redoing the roads where the water work has been done. I think it's important to do it now. So I asked him, he's almost ready to bring that in. And the other thing he didn't get back to me, Brian, was he was gonna get that steel.
Oh, yep.
I don't know if he did, and try and get it inside this year's budget. I don't know if you see anything on that yet.
That's my understanding of what he was trying to do. I haven't.
Plan to do, right, yeah, yep.
That's for the transfer station?
Yes, repair the dock there. Okay, if there's no other business to come before the board, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Move we go into executive session under Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining regarding the highway union, and not to return to open session.
Second,
Second, all those in favor by roll, John Flynn, aye.
Don Davenport, aye?
Eric Van der Wooden, aye.
Thank you, thank you. I don't think it's a patrol union.
No, it's not. I skipped that.
Highway union.
Okay.